Assalamu alaikum. Ahlan, ahlan. Welcome to you on this beautiful day of the end of Ramadan and this new day of, they say every new day is the first day of a new beginning. Also, every new day is new ourselves, new provision, new life, new version of ourselves. May we be able to draw benefit from it. Yes, so we had one meeting before about the four enemies and no fifth. And these are ego and shaytan and dunya, materiality, and Hawa, vain desires and vain choices. And we started with the ego. You may refer to that meeting, to that video. I wanted to clarify one point about the ego part before moving into the second element about shaytan. We titled the first video, Ego, the illegitimate child of the soul. And through the talk, we opposed ego to the soul in this world of duality. So I want to clarify why we call it the legitimate child of the soul, the ego, illegitimate child. We said that the ego in the world of duality is an illusion facing the truth of the soul. And these, in duality, the elements facing each other generally have the same leverage and have the same push, the same capacities in this divine comedy of us living this life and having to find what is true and what is not and follow the true up to our origin, to the unicity of the divine. So, in fact, in the traditional teachings, how the ego came to be, in this general logic of the divine sending elements of true substance from the divine unicity and creating illusions to oppose them. So the ego, the soul, when the soul came from divine light, from ultimate peace and ultimate harmony, came to face to the world of materiality and to be to get its own individuality through our person, through the person. So the soul from a divine ray of light became a person. It fell in love with the materiality because the materiality became its new kingdom and became its mirror, and it can act upon it, and it can. So in that love story between the soul and materiality, we say an illegitimate child was born because it was an illegitimate love story or the wrong love story. It's love of light with illusion, is love of an expression of truth falling in love with illusion. So it gave a child most dangerous because it's the exact opposite of the soul, and that's the ego. And that's why the ego has such connection to materiality, and it has such leverage and such power in front of the ego, of the soul. And only by nurturing the soul can a real growth and a real struggle be fruitful. and to get the ego under control and to reconnect to our real self. So this is the ego, and this is the clarification. Now we move into the second point about shaytan. We say always when we say shaytan, we say idhu billah, means may Allah protect us from its energy. Shaitan's story is a long story because it's possible to deal with it only when we acknowledge its existence. And to acknowledge existence of shaitan, that is existence of active evil energy, one has to be a believer, to believe that there is material life, life of causality, of logic, and then there is an unseen world. And the unseen world is much, much larger than the physical world. And the unseen world is furnished, if you will, is inhabited by many different kinds of life. All of them have a role in this, what we call the divine comedy, or this virtual life that we live on this earth, and through which we have to re-find our real self. We have to reconnect with our real self. So, and in fact, the biggest power to shaitan's ta'idullah is when us humans, if we are secular and atheistic, or we don't believe into the unseen, or we don't believe into this duality of, as there is existence of active positive energy represented into human or angelic forces, there is an active living, thinking, living, active, and quite autonomous evil type of life. And again, in the duality of this stage. And the most active piece of active evil life, we say active as opposed to ego, which is a virtual, illusory energy. But shaitan is actually an entity, a living entity. You know, as in many traditions, there is the world of the genie, or the world of the, you know what, these forest night creatures, Mama Habiba. Yeah, you know, all these traditions about active, unseen, like fairies. And in fact, when we talk about energy manipulation, which is magic, and we talk about black magic, all the sciences of black magic, including good sciences meant to oppose black magic, but you need to know it to be able to oppose it, and evil sciences of black magic using and manipulating energy to harm and to influence. The main elements in that science is knowledge about the demonic dimension and the satanic dimension. And as you know, in the Revelation, there is the story of the explanation of what some call it the fallen angel, but in traditional Islamic teaching, in fact, Shaitan was not an angel. He was another form of life called the jinn. It means simply the unseen. Jinn means unseen in Arabic or in Semitic languages. And through a long story, that entity grew up among angels, and was under the influence of his ego, wishing to become the head of the angels. So that also to be an important saintly figure may be an egoistic wish in many cases. Now that's another story. So, but then his ego side showed when Allah created from clay Adam, our father Adam, our mother Eve, or the beginning seed of humanity, or of this human cycle at least. And Shaitan refused to submit. He was ordered, he was told, this is the deputy. It's not you, this is, human is the deputy. And Shaitan decided he is not going to agree with this. And started a long story of trickery and ruse from Shaitan to prove that human is not worthy of that position. And it became the envious, egotistic side of Shaitan against the human destiny. And obviously, at the end, it's the destiny who's going to be victorious. So this active energy, many things we can say about this element, but today let's just stay with the hadith of the four elements, the four opposite elements to the human, and to be able to define them and get a hold of what they mean. And inshallah, in other meetings, we can say more about how this element, like the shaitan entity, came to be in detail, and what is his program with humans. He got also program that first day. He got a program, and this program is active till today. We may say a few words about his program from what we learned from our teachers. Shaitan, when he saw human, he thought, and that conflict started, and Shaitan was ordered to leave divine presence. Shaitan said, he said, I left divine presence, so human also got to leave divine presence. It's vengeance, he's vengeful. And he was able to draw Adam, peace be upon him, and our mother Eve outside of divine presence. But he did not know that them leaving divine presence is part of their growth and is part of their elevation, of their future elevation even higher from that position they were into. When they left divine presence, symbolically, the story says, they left paradise, so the gates of paradise stayed open, and Shaitan was told they will leave paradise, but their children will come back. And then Shaitan had his second point in his program. I got to keep the children of Adam from going back to paradise. I've got to keep them from going back into divine presence. And that's how the beginning of this incredible effort that Shaitan maintaining every day with every human to take us away from the straight path, to take us into some ways which lead nowhere or which lead to the wrong place, to the place of confusion and of loss, away from divine presence, away from our real birthplace. And that's why Prophet ﷺ says, Watan means your birthplace. love of the birthplace is part of faith. He was assigning to the love of paradise as it is the birthplace of our father Adam and our mother Eve. So shaytan said, oh, I'm going to keep them away from divine presence. But he was made to be aware. Yeah, that struggle will be between you and them. His whole test started with the creation of human. He said, oh, gates of paradise open, they may go back, some of them. I have to lead them into self-destruction because he thought I have to destroy them. And he was inspired, you cannot destroy them. They are too powerful for you. They are carrying divine promise. He said, so I have to lead them into self-destruction, into global self-destruction. That's why of all ages, holy ones, they always taught each other, each next generation. Shaitan tools is to lead humanity into global suicide. And from early times, holy ones knew that humanity will end up into some kind of tool of self-destruction. And that's why when the Industrial Revolution started, Muslims stayed out of it. Because right away, teachers and scholars and holy ones said, this technology and this materialistic knowledge and this aggressive conflictual knowledge meant just to give more tools of power. This is the tool which is going to lead humanity into global suicide or into being tempted into global suicide. And obviously, Allah, as we say in Arabic, and the Holy Quran witnesses, evil has its rules, but divine rules is much bigger. So there's always plan B and plan C to the advantage of humanity. So this is about shaitan for today. A few elements to clarify, but as I said in the beginning, most important thing is to know that in the stage play of life, of human life, it's duality, and in duality, just as there are good, active elements alive, and the clearest one is a human. There is an evil entity, unseen evil entity alive, which role is to mislead a human. So this is the second one of the four. Inshallah, in the next meetings, we'll talk about the other two elements. Wa min Allah tawfiq. May the blessings of this meeting be to all of us, to our teachers and parents and ancestors, all those who taught us, all those who guided us, to be for our children to be protected, and our parents and teachers to be blessed, and our countries and our neighborhoods and our cities to be blessed and protected, and for the healing of humanity, for the healing of our bodies, hearts, and minds, and for our reconnection with our birthright of happiness. وَمِنَ اللَّهِ التَّوْفِيقِ إِلَى شَرَفِ النَّبِي. We presented to all these intentions, and especially to the holy soul of Rasulullah and of Sidi Farhat, our teacher, who taught us much of what we are talking about. Allah ta'ala al-Fatiha.